Welcome back to LUNAR-TICKZ, a new exciting adventure series for all ages. In our previous episode, Nick Bratt and Thao Nguyen entered into the reconnaissance lab, meeting Ian O'Connor and Holly Marks. When Nick and Thao arrived at the lab, Ian and Holly argued whether the lunar rover should enter a cave entrance they had just found. The gray-brown moon dust crunched under the tracks of the lunar rover, each movement echoing in the vast emptiness of the lunar cave. The video adjusted to the cave's darkness as it continued into the hollow realm. As Ian moved the rover, the video caught a glimpse of brightness. Nick exclaimed, "Did you see that? That light? Head over there!" As the lunar rover moved toward the light, the teens heard clanking, and the rover shook, swaying slightly to the left and right. The teens then saw a fuzzy, cotton candy-like tuft, two pointy ears, and eyes with steampunk goggles. As the creature poked the camera, as if tried to determine what it was, back at the lab, the screen went blank and snowy. All communication and video was lost. The teens had no way to bring the rover back to the station. As the teens watched the creature break the screen, they realized they are no longer able to control the rover to recall it back to Lunar Station. They needed to get that rover back and find out what that creature was they'd just seen. The teens sat in stunned silence for a few moments when Ian cried, "We're in so much trouble. We're never going to be able to explain that we lost the rover. Dad is already upset because tools keep disappearing," Ian exclaimed. "He says the tools are gone and all that's left are rocks. What's that all about, and how did they get here? And what was that creature?" Seeing an opportunity for adventure, Nick said, "All right, what are we going to do about this?" Thao, also seeing a chance for adventure, piped in, "We have to go get it back." The teens devised a plan. They gathered supplies, spacesuits, scanners, and gadgets to assist them in their mission to locate the lunar rover and find out what they saw on the laboratory monitor. They met at the station's airlock. After checking their gear to ensure it worked properly, the teens engaged the airlock controls. In their spacesuits and helmets, the teens entered the airlock. As the outer door opened, each breathed air in their suits, as if it might be their last. After a few moments, they cautiously breathed out their first breath, each feeling grateful that their breathing apparatus worked. Nick looked at the others with determination and exclaimed, quoting the famous astronaut Neil Armstrong, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." Thao politely coughed, "Ahem." Nick, laughing, responded, humankind?" Unknown to the teens, these were the first steps in what would forever change their lives. As Nick, Thao, Ian, and Holly trekked through the rocky landscape of the moon, Nick's helmet fogged slightly as he breathed heavily. They were on a mission, so they kept going. Even with the low gravity on the moon, the weight of Nick's spacesuit made movements clumsy. The teens' movements were slow. They could not risk tearing their suits on a jagged rock. Thao, scanning the rocky valley through her scope, looked for the cave where the rover was last detected. "Still no sign of the cave entrance," she muttered through her comms. Thao glanced at Nick. Holly followed behind the rest of the group. As Holly continued to trail behind, her gaze fixed on the swirling dust devils that danced across the surface of the moon and thought they were beautiful. She had never ventured this far away from Lunar Station, and it made her nervous. Holly was the smallest of the teens, but also more observant. Academic and analytical by trait, she also had a sharp, dry wit that would occasionally come out. A master of observation, Holly often noticed details the others missed. Holly's eyes were drawn to the unusual formations of the rocks, which were different in texture and color from the surrounding lunar regolith. Holly thought for a moment. I think it may be over there. Holly pointed, her voice barely audible over the faint crackle of their comms. As Ian, Tao, Nick, and Holly continued their trek, they crawled over and around the sharp rocks and carefully leaped over a deep and deadly chasm. One misstep here could be the end of their newly found adventure. The moon, with its rugged, barren landscape, seemed lifeless. The valleys and craters, scarred by eons of meteor strikes, revealed its violent past, lack of atmosphere, and lunar dust, creating a cold, rocky, and lifeless environment. The landscape was dangerous and starkly contrasted with the sterile, highly controlled environment of Lunar Station, where even the station seemed alive. Still, with the Earth hanging above in the lunar sky, it was beautiful and awe-inspiring. The absence of air outside pressed against their helmets, a constant reminder of their precarious existence in this alien world. Ian, excited as ever, leaped high into the sky. Ian could easily leap 5 meters high with the moon's low gravity. If I can get a higher viewpoint, I might be able to spot the cave entrance. That cave is special. I just know it. That's gotta be it. I need just one more jump to be sure. At the height of his next great leap, Ian shouted, "I see the cave over there!" He pointed as he returned to the surface. "We found it!" Ian shouted. "We found it!" Nick looked at the others with a serious look on his face. "Let's go in. We're on an adventure. Join us soon for the next LUNAR-TICKZ adventure. Coming soon!"